The Galactic Medical Academy's lecture hall fell silent as Professor Vexter projected the quiz question onto the holographic display. His four eyes scanned the diverse assembly of student Anthari with their crystalline exoskeletons, Rolmech with their tentacled appendages, and to humans sitting near the back. Question 17, the professor's translator chirped. Describe the optimal neurotoxin for incapacitating a silicon-based lifeform. Oliver raised his hand, his voice carrying across the amphitheater. Before I answer, could you clarify, are we looking for something lethal, painful, or untraceable? The lecture hall erupted in confused chittering and concerned growls. Professor Vexter's mandibles clicked nervously. In his 3 decades of teaching xenobiology, no student had ever asked such a question with such casual ease. The question asks for incapacitation. Cadet Oliver Vexter replied carefully, not termination. Oliver nodded, as if the professor had simply clarified a minor mathematical equation. Right, so painful it is. Silicon-based nervous systems respond to security. As Anthari student shrieked, its crystalline body flashing alarming shades of red. The human is planning an assassination. Lisa, sitting beside Oliver, rolled her eyes. Oh, for crying out loud. He's answering the quiz question, with disturbing specificity. The Anthari insisted. Professor Vexter raised a primary appendage for silence. Everyone, please. Cadet Oliver, perhaps you could explain your methodology. Oliver stood, genuinely confused by the commotion. I'm just being thorough, Professor. On Earth, medical students study toxicology extensively. We need to know how poisons work to treat poisoning. It's standard curriculum. But you have categories, a Rolmech student whispered, her voice trembling. Organized categories, for causing harm. Lisa sighed and pulled out her data. Look, I'll make this simple. Humans have been poisoning each other for approximately 10,000 years. We've gotten pretty good at it. She tapped her screen. Hemlock, arsenic, cyanide, ricin, botulinum, toxin, strychnine, polonium, 210. Should I continue? The lecture hall had gone deathly quiet. Your species has been murdering each other with toxins for 10 millennia. Professor Vexter's voice cracked through his translator. Well, yeah, Oliver said, but also healing each other. That's the point. You can't develop antidotes without understanding the poisons first. Earth hospitals stock antivenoms for hundreds of snake species, antitoxins for bacterial infections, chelating agents for heavy metal poisoning. Your planet has hundreds of naturally occurring venomous species. A student gasped. Thousands, Lisa corrected. Snakes, spiders, scorpions, jellyfish, octopi, fish, frogs, insects, even some mammals. Australia alone could kill you in about 40 different ways before breakfast. Oliver continued his answer as if the interruption hadn't happened. For silicon-based lifeforms, you'd want something that disrupts their lattice structure at the molecular level. Hydrofluoric acid would work, but it's messy. I'd suggest a targeted enzyme that stop. Professor Vexter's 4 eyes widened in horror. You're designing a weapon. I'm answering your question, Oliver protested. You literally asked us about neurotoxins in your quiz. The professor's translator sputtered. I asked for theoretical knowledge, not a practical application manual. Lisa leaned forward. Professor, with respect, how exactly did you expect us to answer? Every toxin has a mechanism of action. Understanding that mechanism means understanding how to deploy it, how to defend against it, and how to treat exposure. That's basic science. A Anthari security officer had arrived. His plasma rifle trained cautiously on the 2 humans. Are these students a threat? Professor Vexter hesitated. The humans looked utterly bewildered, as if they genuinely couldn't understand why everyone was so upset. He'd read the briefings about Earth, a death world where virtually everything was trying to kill you, where the dominant species had clawed its way to the top through sheer stubbornness and adaptation. Stand down, he told the security officer. Then, to Oliver, please sit. Cadet Lisa, you as well. When the hall had settled, Professor Vexter addressed the entire class. Students, this is an important lesson in species diversity. The humans are not dangerous, they are simply products of their environment. Our environment wanted us dead, Lisa said cheerfully, so we learned to kill it back. That is not helping, Oliver muttered. The professor continued. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. To put this in perspective, most of our species evolved on Class 3 or Class 4 worlds. The humans developed in an environment so hostile that their ancestors had to master toxins just to survive. We also developed really good medicine, Oliver added. Our pharmaceutical technology is centuries ahead of most galactic civilizations because we've been fighting biological warfare since before we discovered fire. A brave Rolmic student raised a tentacle. So, humans aren't planning to poison us. Of course not, Lisa said, looking offended. We're doctors. Well, medical students, we want to heal people, not hurt them, though we could, Oliver added helpfully, if we needed to, hypothetically. Not helping. Lisa kicked his shin under the desk. Professor Vexter rubbed his temples, a gesture he'd learned from human instructors. Moving forward, perhaps I should rephrase my quiz questions to be more species sensitive, for, Lisa suggested, you could just accept that humans bring a unique perspective to xenomedicine. We've survived things that would have wiped out most civilizations. That experience is valuable. The professor considered this. She was right, of course. Human medical advances had already revolutionized trauma care across the galaxy. Their approach to emergency medicine, aggressive, fast, and thoroughly practiced, came from millennia of treating everything from poisonings to predator attacks. Very well, Vexter said. Cadet Oliver, please provide your answer, but perhaps with less enthusiasm about the practical applications. Oliver grinned. For incapacitating a silicon-based life form, I'd recommend a suspension of fluorosilicic acid in a buffered solution, administered dermally. It disrupts the lattice bonds without causing permanent damage. Effect duration, approximately 2 hours. And it's completely reversible with a calcium gluconate flush. The hall remained silent. That's actually brilliant, Professor Vexter admitted reluctantly. The calcium flush is an elegant touch. Thanks, Oliver said. I figured if we're asking about incapacitation, we should also know how to fix it afterward. That's the whole point of medicine, right? As the lecture resumed, the other students gave the humans a wider berth, though several approached them after class, asking questions, Aquaparts fascinated and terrified. Lisa and Oliver answered patiently, explaining Earth's unique evolutionary pressures and how those challenges had shaped human medicine. Professor Exter updated his teaching notes that evening. Human students require modified assessment criteria. Their default setting for helpful medical knowledge includes information most species would classify as weapons grade. This is normal for them. Do not panic. He paused, then added, also, never ask humans about Earth biology before lunch. You will lose your appetite. The end.